Okay, welcome to the very first Coalesce podcast. And this is my name's Grant, and this is
I'm Meg.
and we work here at IntelliTect, and we're going to show you a little bit about how to get Coalesce up and working. So we're going to make at least the idea is to make several different episodes, kind of going through different features. And so this first one, we're just going to show you how to get started on the command line and what it's going to take to. Now we've been talking about what we're actually going to build. This is the hardest part of the whole thing, like it's just deciding. So we can't decide whether there's a trivia app, maybe kind of a little blog question and answer thing. Why don't we start with trivia for right now? We may change the name later. 5 years ago or more, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And so I was tired of building websites, just having to write all of the code and all, like, whenever you wanted to drop down that was searchable and all that kind of stuff, you had to build all that stuff out. So it really started out working on a project for Vanessa Behan, where we were going to have to build this form that had like 100 fields or 150 fields. Like, I'm not going to write back end code. So it saves every time you exit every one of those in those particular fields and all that. So I said, okay, let's just build some kind of infrastructure to handle this. Effectively, the idea is that it's really fun to write like back-end stuff where you get to have the you're writing the data model and you're writing the logic and all that kind of stuff. And then it's fun to write cool looking front ends. But all that stuff in the middle of writing the APIs and all that is pretty tedious because much of it either ends up being boilerplate or you end up doing a whole bunch of plumbing around the API endpoints that you want to make. So anyway, so Meg has actually been using Coalesce a lot more than I have in the not too distant past, and so she's here to kind of do some of this. So Meg, why do you like Coalesce?
Yeah, so I pretty much just started using Coalesce straight out of college. That maybe I like it because I'm tainted and it's what I've been doing for the past 4 years.
That's a good reason.
It's also very handy to have the two kind of creators of this like present at the company for help. So it's very easy framework to get ramped up on if you have direct access to those kinds of people. And it just makes it very easy. You don't have to do any of that kind of boring plumbing work. You can kind of get started on an app right away. All you have to do is run a couple commands and it kind of makes the whole scaffolding for you. And you can focus on all the fun stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's kind of get started. So if we want to go and get information about how to get started, where do we find that?
So let me bring Google up here. If you want to do that, you can go to Coalesce the docs. It is IntelliTect.github.io/.
I usually just Google Coalesce IntelliTect, and that like the first hit.
That's that you if you didn't notice, I just Googled Coalesce read the docs.
Oh, there you go. Read the docs. That works too. So this is the read the docs site. There's also another GitHub site, right?
Yep. So there's a GitHub site which you get to from up here, and that will bring you to the GitHub.
Here's all the code. It's all open source, so you can get to the stuff. You can fork it, do whatever you want to do with it. Kind of lists the basic, all the cool, the major features, gives you some build information.
Yep.
And we have the docs. So let's just jump right in. I mean, we can go talk about this, but let's just like build stuff and see what happens. So
yeah.
Okay, well, we should click that get started button. What do you say?
Yeah, to get started, you just click get started, and then there's a little bit of information on the environment setup that you need.
So what do we need? We need the .NET SDK, recent version, so just an LTS, whatever the most recent long-term support version of Node is.
Kind of all the basic stuff you need to get started on.
So now, as far as IDE goes, what do you recommend?
So for IDE, I usually use VS Code and Visual Studio. So VS Code is great for all of your Vue and TypeScript stuff, and then Visual Studio is great for C#.
So basically, Visual Studio work right out of the box. You don't really have to add anything to it other than just kind of the regular web-based .NET Core, which used to be .NET Core, now just .NET workloads. And then you would have the VS Code, and then it looks like you listed a few things there. The Vue official plugin, and then TypeScript Vue plugin.
Yep,
those are going to help you.
Andrew, actually, when you first create this, he has a plugin recommendation list that VS Code kind of hooks into. So
awesome.
You should be able to see that pop up. So if you scroll
cool.
down a little more, you'll get this creating a project. You can totally just copy this in and paste it in your command line.
Okay, so what is that doing there? So first I'm going to install the template.
Yep, you're going to install the template. So
okay.
You go .NET new install, and then you're going to install the Coalesce Vue template, which I believe is here on GitHub if you wanted to look at it. So you can kind of see when it was last updated.
And now if I copy that from the other screen, I'm going to get my company.my project, right?
Yep. So this will be
So
the
I'm gonna have to
project
modify that, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so I have to go in, and so we really have to run these kind of one at a time.
Yeah. If you want, unless this is your.
Yeah. Last time I checked, we weren't named my company, but that's okay.
So we can run this one at a time. So I'll run this command. I do already have this installed, but we might as well run it.
See what it looks like. Boom. Okay, so it's already installed. It's gonna grab the latest one. Do I need to do anything? Like, what version of this service should I be grabbing? Like, should I be using the full release versions? I know there's like an alpha beta channel. Like, where do I want to be?
It's a great question. I usually am on just the bleeding edge of this, but
and the bleeding edge is typically, well, at least typically pretty stable because we're in a stable cycle right now. We're not introducing a whole bunch of breaking changes. So
yeah, but I mean, you definitely can run into some issues on the bleeding edge sometimes, but not often. It's very rare.
Okay, so this is just the template that we're going to pull down. That really doesn't matter. So okay, great. Let's do the next step.
Yep. So next step is we're going to do a .NET new, and then we're going to say Coalesce. Oops, Coalesce.
And how do you pronounce the name of this?
Coalesce. Just
Coalesce, not Coalesce.
Coalesce.
Coalesce. It's Coalesce.
Is there something called Coalesce?
Well, some people tend to put the hard K at the end, but it's a silent K. It's not there.
I think so. That's how I've said it.
And so there's Coalesce View, but there also used to be a Coalesce Knockout, which we've now deprecated. So some of the this was originally built with Knockout when it was first done because View wasn't even a thing back then. But we've since moved to Vue. We actually looked at a couple other frameworks, both Angular and React, and it just doesn't fit quite as well with those frameworks. I think we could get it to fit, but we just like Vue so much that we tend to use that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we ran that. Did you run the command line? I didn't even see it.
Oh, not yet. I'm just pulling this back up.
Okay, so there's IntelliTect.trivia. That sounds like a great name. And we're right in the folder. We're in the root, and so it's going to make a child in this folder, right? It's a subfolder with the name of our project.
Yeah. So I'm in my Git folder.
So we don't have to make my folder ahead of time and then run it.
Nope. This will make a folder for you.
Okay, great.
IntelliTect.
Let's do it. Like, what are we waiting for? Just fear.
Okay, there we go. So,
that's it.
Yep, that's it. I'm not going to do LS because this will get.
It showed a whole bunch of stuff.
It's kind of a mess. So let's just go.
You go right in here. IntelliTect.trivia.
Yeah, what you can do is do IntelliTect. And I'm going to kind of type it out. There we go. And if you look in the docs, I don't know how familiar everybody is with this, but you have your start.web. So this is just.
So let's go in there and just take a quick look. Go into that folder.
Yeah, we don't have to go all the way in yet here. So
now we can do an LS. Okay. So there's this just looks like a basic. It's a regular old program.
Yep. So you've got your data project. You've got a test project set up.
So what does the data project have in it?
So maybe we should open this in Visual Studio.
Let's go ahead and do that because I see a solution file right there. So we could just go and open that.
Yeah.
I think we can just type it, right? I think it should open if we just type IntelliTectTrivia.sl. Maybe. We're going to try a whole bunch of things in this podcast. We're probably going to be wrong.
I think this will work, but let's see.
Yeah, just press enter and see what happens.
I thought you had to do like code.
Oh, it won't. It doesn't work.
Well, wait, did I spell it right?
What if you dev end and then do that? Front of it is DEV.
Sorry, I'm taking a screenshot.
I have to go back. Just all one.
Yep. There we go.
And put a space.
It's hard to type and look left at the same time.
No, it doesn't work.
It's okay. I'll open it here.
So much for that.
I'll open it up here. So
those aliases put in.
I know you can do code dot and you can open.
So you're on the other screen opening it up in just
you're the Windows GUI. Oh gosh.
If we open a .NET code, we can just do code.
Yeah, you should just do code dot.
Yep, great. And that would open it there.
But I don't want to open the whole thing in code.
Yep.
I want to just open my web project in code.
So let's just get it running because we're almost out of time. This is a little bit of a short session.
It is, yeah. Man, I'm like blind in here. IntelliTect trivia, there it is. Okay. So here it is opening up.
Boom, look at that. Well, it's relatively fast. There's not a lot in it.
And this is kind of built off of, it uses EF as well, which I don't think you have to use EF, but it starts with it by default.
Yeah, pretty much is going to need to use EF because it's going to need EF because that's how it does all the data access underneath.
Maybe it does need EF. I might have been wrong about that.
Right. So we basically have a data project that's going to have all of our models in it. If you want to put some of your business logic there, you can totally do that. In the models folder, that's where all of your things are. We initially have a widget that's just kind of a demo, right? And then our web project's going to have all the rest of it. So let's just get this running. We can actually do this later. Do we need to do like an NPM anything?
Yeah. We skipped that part of the doc.
Oh yeah, we skipped that. Well, so we would have been reading the docs. We would have learned all this stuff.
Yep. That was the last step of the docs. It was NPM CF.
So actually, if we ran this from the command line, we can run this from the command line, right? Like straight up.
Yeah, but we have to do our NPM first, or else it's not gonna.
Okay, so we just do.
So we can go.
So we got to go into the web project, right?
Web.
Web, right?
There we go.
NPM. So you do a CI because that'll keep all the version numbers and it's not going to increment anything forward. Just going to pull whatever's in.
And we don't have a package lock yet, so we have to gen that.
Okay, so that'll gen that up.
Okay.
It doesn't take too long, so it loads a bunch of packages.
And then we can start here, or we can start it in the command line, whatever you have a preference.
Yeah, either way we can do. It doesn't matter. That's
I
the same,
like
same command.
starting here.
Okay.
Just because I like UIs.
Here.
And it just takes a second the first time.
Doing the full, and this is doing a package restore for all of the .NET packages too.
Okay, here it is. Good.
There it is. This way you get right out of the box. We haven't done anything. Like we literally just did the install of the template. We built our app based on the template, and now we have this thing.
Yep, we ran 4 lines.
Great.
You get this homepage kind of built out, and then the cool thing is you get these admin pages. Now
there's our widget that we saw before.
It is. There it is. Now this actually is going to throw an error. And the reason is we haven't run our migration, so we have no migration.
We have to put some migration. So, should we do that real quick? So
yeah,
actually
let's
do that. So we have to go to the data project in order to do that. So you can go back up and go one forward into the data projects. And then
you don't have to put these quotes. I think this is just a habit of mine.
In case you want to, I don't think you should put spaces.
You should never put spaces. So I don't know why I put quotes, but I just always do it.
There you go. Did the build, it added the migration, and now is it going to automatically run the migrations for us when this thing starts up?
It should, yeah. So over in the program.cs down here, there should be a. There we go. Somewhere in here, there should be like a migrate or something. Yeah, database.
There it is. Awesome. So we create a scope there. That would just be typical stuff for .NET to run. And we can walk through this in another session too. Kind of
This is all just getting the app started. Like you don't have to write any of this to start. Okay, now if we go to admin pages and widget, you have this.
Hey, look at that.
This is.
We get nothing. It's awesome. Yeah. Unbelievable.
But we can hit create and we can name our widget like thingy. Bob, is that how you spell that?
Bob, something like that. You can put spaces.
You can, yeah.
Oh, and there's a category. That category is just what? That must be
a. Yeah, this is I think an enum that.
Okay, great. Can we go check that out on the backside? Let's just go look at what that is.
So that's this.
What's our widget? So it just knew how to do all that, and there's the widget category automatically. So just all we did was build this class out right here. We have a datetime offset, a widget category, a string, and then just the regular ID, and I added it to my DB context. So if it go into the app DB context, there's just a single widgets collection in there. That's all we've done. We know nothing other than special.
We didn't really even do this.
Yeah, this was all built by.
But if you went and did this.
And so now we go back to the UI there. Like it just gives us all that nice stuff.
Yep, it gives you this whole admin table. If you go back, you have this here.
Boom, you can do edit.
Do kind of bulk editing.
Okay, nice.
You can do deletions. Now we don't have anything again.
And we can do filters, it looks like. That's kind of cool.
We can do filters. So if we went back and put a category back on, you've got your ability to say category of. And
just all right out of the box, just get all this nice stuff.
You can see it's pretty.
That's really fast. Yeah, it just works. Okay, what about that search box?
Yep.
Maybe we have to add something else.
Yeah, let's add one more thing.
Everybody needs this fidget spinner. A couple of them. Maybe.
There we go. So
no one knows when it was invented.
Oh.
So in this case, it looks like it's just looking from the beginning of the word.
Yep.
I believe that's changeable. We can change that search to search anywhere in the word.
It is, yeah. I've said that, but I'm used to always.
Yeah, right. We usually just change that. So anyway, this is pretty cool. So we're up and running. I think we're out of time, so we're gonna have to go do some other stuff. But there, you kind of have a general idea of just how to get this working. I mean, it's pretty quick. Like in 20 minutes or so, we were able to get an app ready to go, and now we're ready to start adding like data tables and POCO classes and all that.
You can definitely do it faster than 20 minutes if you're not talking.
Yeah, right.
Great.
Thank you. Awesome. Thanks. Join us for our next episode where we're going to go in to do more awesome stuff with our trivia app.